I'd like you now to close your eyes and begin to take a series of deeper breaths, holding each one for just as long as it is comfortable for you to do so. That's right. Good. And once you've found your own comfortable rhythm, if you would, please gently lengthen each breath, deepen each breath, breathing slowly now, gently now, deeply now. That's right. And as you breathe slowly and deeply, you'll notice that all those little muscles around your eyes are beginning to soften, to loosen, to relax. Such a lovely feeling. This allows your eyes themselves to lose tension. And as you feel this tension melting, notice now too that all of the little muscles in your eyebrows are following suit, softening, relaxing, letting go. And now you'll be finding that this wonderful feeling is spreading upwards into your forehead, soothing, relaxing, mentally massaging all of the muscles that make up your forehead. And this feeling is now gliding up, gliding across your scalp and down the back of your head and around the sides of your head now, reaching your ears as all those tiny muscles in your ears also begin to let go. You feel your cheeks now beginning to relax, and all of the tiny, tiny little muscles around your mouth and your lips, they're now loosening, melting, allowing your chin to respond in just the same way. You notice these wonderful feelings passing now down into your neck, your vocal cords being touched by this magical release. Now go to sleep, and all those little voices that chatter away in your mind all day, they're beginning to quieten now, becoming ever distant, until you can hear them no longer. And as they go quiet, a wonderful, wonderful, deeply peaceful feeling spreads now across your shoulder blades. A gorgeous feeling now entering your shoulder joints and radiating all around. So good. This feeling passing now down into your upper arms, continuing down into your elbows, your lower arms, into your wrists, along the bones of your hands, into your fingers, touching your fingernails now, which themselves seem to magically soften and lose any tension they were holding to. And as this wonderful feeling begins to take over your entire experience, your torso, your middle, the center of your being, is now being flooded with this deeply peaceful calm. A long overdue, deserved, deeply peaceful calm. A disengagement from the irritations and the frustrations and the difficulties of the outside world. And there, in the center of your stomach, in the very center of yourself, deep in the very heart of your own being, you see, almost imperceptible, but you see it, a glow, an orb of glowing, formless light, shimmering, a gorgeous glow, softly sparkling, radiating clear, soothing, mind-massaging light, appealing, inviting, attractive. You feel its deep pull as this soft, beautiful light reaches out to you from within. Your inner eye closes in delight, bringing now consciousness deeper inside, into this, your private place of peace. So still, so quiet, so welcoming, so right. You move towards this beautiful light, and sinking now into its cloud-like softness, this wonderful, relaxing color, the color of comfort, surrounds you now. And I wonder if you can notice the delicate aroma that goes with this, subtle to begin with, but growing more noticeable as your mind, feeling completely safe now, reassured that nothing needs to be done, no questions to answer, no tasks to perform. So good. And you're probably noticing now that the deeper you go into this, the deeper you allow yourself to go into this, the better it feels. And the better it feels, the deeper you can go. A velvet-like softness all around, sinking deeper into this, knowing it's right, anticipating change, opening up now to possibilities of new growth and development. You see colors swirl and shimmer as you begin now to cross the threshold into this magical, mystical sensation of dreamlike wonder. You see there, Just a little way in front of you, an arched wooden door, a quiet-looking door with a round wooden handle. Intrigued, your mind starts to wonder what wonders may lie on the other side, and so, curious, you approach and you turn that handle, warm and smooth to the touch. You hear a satisfying click as the handle turns in your hand and the door swings outwards. Warm air on your cheeks, light on your face, the sun rising above the buildings around you as you step onto the street on a warm spring morning, going somewhere, walking down this street to do something, to get something done. That's right. You walk now into the restaurant of life, just as you do every day, and you take your usual seat at your current table. Very soon, you are joined by the usual people. It's a straightforward day today, a day just like any other day. But today, you begin to feel that you can feel differently about things. Today, for some reason, you focus more than usual on what is going on around you, and you pay more attention in particular to what you can hear. You focus intently on what you are hearing now. You, along with everyone else, are taking your seats when an item of cutlery is accidentally knocked off the table and falls down onto the black and white checkered marble floor. The clang is so distinct, you feel you can almost see it. The waiter arrives, and ordering for today's experience begins. You've no need to look at your menu because you are so familiar with its contents, but you hold it open as is the custom, and you pretend to be reading the available choices. Today, it's your turn to order first. Just my usual, please, you say to the waiter. The waiter looks you directly in the eye. He smiles and replies, "So, that'll be dreary pessimism, nested on a bed of tedium, drizzled with virgin insight, and followed by empty escapism with a side order of loneliness in company. Is that right?" "That's me, that's my life," you say with as much enthusiasm as you can. You then hand your menu back to the waiter. The waiter smiles and nods and moves to the person sitting next to you, an unfamiliar face that you haven't seen at your table before today. You generally don't listen to what any of the others order, but today, since you are now focusing more than usual on what you hear, today You pay close attention now. I'll start with optimism, please, the person next to you says with a smile. And I'd like to follow that, the person continues, with cheerful involvement and a side order of energy and enthusiasm. And could I also have satisfaction and contentedness along with that, please? Of course you can, the waiter replies cheerily. In fact, satisfaction and contentedness come as standard when you start with optimism and go on to be cheerfully involved with energy and enthusiasm, as you've chosen to be today. It's a really good combination, and I'm never sure why more people don't go for that. You are astonished by what you have just heard. You can't let this go. Excuse me, please, you interrupt. The waiter turns to you with a smile, and so you continue. I'm a little confused by what you've just said. You said that you were surprised that more people didn't order all of those positive things that the lady next to me just ordered. But we don't really have much choice about our daily experience, do we? I mean, I can only have something that's on the menu that I've been given, can I not? The waiter looks puzzled for a moment, and then a smile of understanding washes over his face. Oh, I see what's happened here, he says to you, continuing to smile. I think you've misunderstood exactly how life works. You see, in the restaurant of life, you don't actually get much choice as to precisely what lands on your plate, but you do get to choose how good it tastes, how filling it is, and how much you appreciate it. It's a common mistake to make, but an unfortunate one because it can create an awful lot of unnecessary suffering. A feeling of excited interest runs through you because you now realize you have missed something really important about life. And so you focus even more intently on what you're hearing now. You understand that you are about to hear something that will change your life for the better forever. For example, the waiter continues, the table you're sitting at here right now, this one, as you are aware, is for everyone but as your general daily life experience. That's to say that everyone at this table is in your general situation, and so everyone here at this table gets served pretty much the same thing. In fact, if you can just wait for a second or two, I can show you exactly how it all works and what I mean. Here come the starters now. The waiter stands back as another waiter arrives with the starters and places a plate in front of each person at the table. You look at what each person is given and you see that what the waiter says is true. Everyone at your table has almost exactly the same starter. Some are very slightly bigger. Some are very slightly smaller. Some have a tiny bit more or a tiny bit less of each ingredient, but on the whole, you can see that everyone is served almost exactly the same dish. The only thing that differs are the expressions on each person's face as they contemplate what is on their plate for today. As you can see, the waiter says to you as you look around, everyone at your table is served the same dish. It is possible to change tables sometimes. You've done it by choice yourself a few times over the years. Perhaps, say, when you've moved house, or when you've got yourself a new lover or a new job, that sort of thing. And there are also times when you've had no choice about moving table, such as when a relative died, or you became ill, or something happened beyond your control, and when you moved to a different table, you were served something different. But everyone at each table is served pretty much the same. And so, that means that what you get to choose from your menu in the restaurant of life is not what you find on your plate, but rather how it tastes, how full it makes you feel, and how much satisfaction you decide you're going to get from it. You are astonished by this, but somewhere at the back of your mind, understanding is beginning to take place. This is all starting to make wonderful sense to you. You look now at what is on your plate. It's the usual stuff, and you have the usual dissatisfied reaction to it. You now look at the plate in front of the person who ordered optimism for her starter, and you see that what is on her plate is exactly the same as what you have on yours. But the person's expression is one of cheerful optimism. You notice that the waiter is watching you with interest. You look to him for further explanation. As you can see, he says, you have the same thing on your plate as the lady next to you, but you are less pleased than she is because, whilst you ordered pessimism, she ordered optimism. And so, of course, as you would expect, as a direct consequence of this, her experience of life today is going to be so much more enjoyable and interesting than yours, even although what happens to each of you today will be very similar, if not exactly the same. You consider this deeply before saying to the waiter, "So, tell me please if I've got this right. Because we're sitting at the same table, the lady next to me and I are going to have the same sort of things happening to us today." "That's right," says the waiter in reply, nodding encouragingly. Okay, you respond. So, she and I are going to have the same sort of things happen to us today, but simply because we go into things with a different attitude, we therefore have a different reaction to what does happen, which leads to a different experience overall. Yes, yes, the waiter agrees, nodding and smiling. Which means that, you continue, because I start off with a negative attitude, and the lady next to me starts off with a positive attitude, then, even although we have exactly the same things occurring to us, she's going to have a much better day than I will. You've got it in one, says the waiter. Is it really that simple? You ask the waiter. The waiter smiles, nods, and confirms. It really is that simple, he says. Then, would it be possible to change my order, please? You ask hopefully. Of course it would, replies the waiter with an encouraging smile. Changing your order is no different to changing your mind about how you feel about your life. And in this situation, it's precisely the same. Give me a minute, please, and I'll get you another menu. The waiter disappears and then quickly reappears with a different menu. You suspect it's the same menu as the one the lady next to you ordered from, as you can see all of the positive things that she chose on the one that you are holding now. Well, you say, I think I'll have exactly the same as what this lady has. I'll start my day with optimism, please, and I'll follow that with cheerful involvement and a side order of energy and enthusiasm. And you say that this comes with satisfaction and contentedness automatically. It certainly does, replies the waiter. I think you've made a very good choice. I'll be back presently with your starter. The waiter returns shortly after. He takes away the starter that you ordered earlier, and he replaces it with the new one. You are astonished. You can see that what is on your plate is exactly the same as what you were given before. But now it looks so much more appealing and so much more appetizing. Now you are looking forward to the day ahead. And now you understand fully and completely. Now you see this clearly. What the waiter said was absolutely true. There are so many other influences on what goes on in our lives that the vast majority of what happens to us is generally entirely beyond our control. But what is always within your control, and this is always simply a matter of choice, is your attitude towards your life and how you respond to what happens each day, and how much you appreciate what's been put on your plate. And, of course, your daily attitude and how you respond to what happens each day dictates precisely just how enjoyable and just how satisfying your life turns out to be. The glass is never completely full, nor ever completely empty. And so, the magical meaning of what you have seen and learned today in the restaurant of life is that it really is true that life is what you make it, and you make it with your attitude. Change your attitude, and you will necessarily change your life. This I promise you. So, let's do that now. And in order to do that, I would like to speak, if I may, directly to your subconscious mind, your deeper mind. Firstly, I'd like to thank you for all that you do for this person, including ensuring that this person was able to participate in this session today. This person is going through a difficult time right now, and this is entirely because this person has been trying to control those things that lie outside this person's control, all of which generates needless stress and a sense of frustration and a lack of achievement. It is entirely within your power to change this person's general attitude to a much more positive one by seeing and understanding that attempting to control things that necessarily lie out with your control always leads to upset and disappointment. And so, now is the time for change. You can feel so very differently about everything just by making a positive change to your attitude. Kindly make that decision now. Do this now. See that the only thing over which we have control is our own stress levels, and that the way to reduce our stress levels is simply to stop trying to control things that lie outside of our control. See that you are fortunate. See that you are very fortunate, because the fact is that you are very fortunate. Not only are you lucky enough to have at least half a glass full, but you've also got a glass to put it in. And now you have something else on top of this. You now understand the true meaning of stress control. The way to stop stress is to stop trying to be in control. I'd like you now to review your entire life as you presently understand it, with your new understanding. See clearly now, see deeply now, that you cannot control what other people do, think, or say, but you can control how you respond to them. Your stress levels will drop automatically when you relinquish attempted control over that which lies outside of your control. And so, for the rest of the day, and for all of the days to come, you will see the best in everyone and everything. And because of this, indeed as a natural and direct result of this, you will find that you are so much happier overall, and life will be so much more easy into the bargain. Let this be so, and allow this person to enjoy this clarity of mind fully and forever. And now, suddenly, your life is so much brighter. You feel physically lighter, and the good feelings that you feel now will be carried over into your daily experience of life from here on in. And this is just how it is now. You are calm. You are free of stress, and it is wonderful. So good. In a minute, I am going to count to 10. As you hear each number, you will feel more and more awake and more convinced of the complete success of this session. And because you now understand that all stress arises from attempting to control that which lies outside your control, you see clearly now. You see that since attempted control leads to stress, giving up trying to control things automatically reduces stress. You see this so very clearly now, because it is now so very obvious to you. You understand this. And you also understand that the life you experience is a direct result of your choice of daily attitude. Choose now to be positive and optimistic. Choose now to be positive and optimistic every day, and your life will now become better and better and better. Of this there can be no doubt. And in accepting this, you feel free. You feel wonderful, and you feel so very much more able to survive and to prosper and to get the very best out of life. And so you shall. So good. So good. So good. When I reach the number 10, you will be fully awake. Your clarity of mind will be pristine, and you will be filled to the brim with joyful energy, feeling as if you are capable of anything you set your mind to. And you will feel this simply because it is true. And it is true because now you are completely free of stress. That's right. Excellent. And so, I begin the count. 1. Coming out. 2. Feeling returning. 3. Consciousness rising. 4. Optimism beginning to flower and blossom. 5. Beginning to feel awake, beginning to feel wonderful. 6. Joyful energy flooding through you now. 7. Overall positivity about your life flowing freely now. 8. Beginning to open your eyes. 9. Opening your eyes. And 10. Fully awake, stress-free, and ready for anything. You are wonderful.